Deportiva y con swing.
Deportiva y con swing.
La factoría del deporte desde New York para ti. Es una máquina.
Es una máquina
Pensada para ti.
pensada para ti.
Número uno en las redes, dale like y compartir. Con informaciones importantes siempre frescas.
Y con entrevistas que te ponen de cabeza.
Lo mejor del deporte lo encontrarás aquí.
Búscale en las redes, dale like y compartir.
Suscríbete,
Ay sí,
infórmate.
ok. Dale a la campana para que te llegue.
Aaron, just given the stakes for tomorrow, what do you think the environment will be like here at Fenway?
Amazing. I think the last couple times we've been here, when we came here in the summer, and then obviously last week, there's a buzz here. It matters here. It's fun to compete in games here. It's tough to compete in games here. I think it'll be some tension, electricity, everything you could hope for a winner-take-all game in the playoffs and two outstanding franchises and teams.
Garrett Cole hasn't necessarily looked like himself the last few times out. In your mind, what does he need to do to start looking like the guy we saw earlier in the season?
I don't think it's far off at all. I think the stuff is there. I think going back to the Cleveland game where he struggled, I think he struggled way less than the line suggested. I think in Toronto the other day, they banged him for a couple home runs on a couple of just missed heaters. So I think everything's there for him to put it together tomorrow. It's just about executing in the right quadrants against a good team.
Dan and Marley.
Aaron, do you have a lineup yet?
No.
And you guys lost the first 7 to Boston this year, and then I think won 6 of the last 6. Is there anything to that, to how you guys have played better against them of late than you did earlier in the year?
I mean, I think we're a better team and are playing better when we've played them more recently. And I think in those first, was it 7? Probably a handful of those were really competitive games that just kind of didn't go our way. But I feel like a couple of those times maybe we weren't playing at our best. So I think part of that is us kind of righting the ship a little bit here, especially in the second half of the season, kind of after that post-4th of July. But, I think we've seen that happen in the course of this rivalry over the years where, you get hot for a little stretch against them or not. But I think it'll be 2 really competitive teams.
Marley?
Aaron, as someone who is part of this rivalry as a member of the New York Yankees, how do you feel about the single game elimination wildcard game, Yankees-Red Sox?
Well, if we win, I'll feel great about it. Look, I mean, it's probably not perfect this way, but you also, live to be in these kind of competitive environments and with a ton on the line. And, we feel like as a team we've been playing for a while now with a lot on the line, certainly the last week and 10 days and 2 weeks, but even going back a couple of months. And now we're truly at the must-win portion of the schedule, So, I was asked all weekend about, is this must-win? Yeah, tomorrow's must-win, right? We got to win or we're done. So I think as a competitor, and that's what you sign up for, and you hope to be in these scenarios where you're playing a meaningful game to move on to something more special. So we'll embrace that, look forward to tomorrow, and I know we'll walk out there with a lot of confidence and expect to play well and give it our best shot.
Aaron, and when there was going to be a possibility of a 4-way tie, you guys had picked to play at Fenway Park, which I know had something to do also with avoiding the international travel. But now that this is going to happen, do you guys feel a little bit more, better about yourselves and your odds in this ballpark because of what happened in the last series here?
I mean, I don't. Look, I think one thing. Whenever I've been asked about momentum in baseball, never knew what to answer until 2003 coming over here, and being a part of that team, playing against a great Red Sox team. And I used to hear that all the time. Like, we'd win a game and we'd grab the momentum, and then they'd beat the crap out of us the next day. And it's like, okay, I don't know what any of it means. I think we're really a good team. And I know when we play well, we can beat anyone. So, and I think maybe partly having a good week last week maybe gives us a little added confidence coming in here, like, okay, we can do this. But, had we lost 2 out of 3 here last week, I think we'd feel the same way, frankly, walking in here. It's, as I've said all along with our guys, even in the lowest moments, I do feel like there's been an underlying confidence with them. And I think we'll walk out on that field with that confidence, expecting to win tomorrow.
Christy and Brendan.
Do you have an update on how Gio Urshela is doing and what your confidence level in him being able to play at his normal level tomorrow?
Yeah, I think he's going to be good. Saw Gio. He was actually getting some treatment about an hour and a half ago or 2 hours ago back at the hotel, and saw him at brunch this morning. And, he was a little stiff, but actually felt pretty good. And, I think if there was a game today, he'd be playing. So I think he's going to be fine. Again, I think we got incredibly fortunate in that situation, because as you know from what it's really scared me watching him launch in there from my angle. So he might be a little stiff or whatever, but I don't think it'll have much impact.
Brendan, go ahead.
Aaron, I don't think we asked you last night. Is it a knee, thigh, bruise? What is it for Gio?
More he bruised his thigh. It was that's where he slammed the most. He's got a little cut on his calf, shin area, but mostly just banged his thigh.
And he went straight down the steps. Is that the only thing?
Yeah. Yeah. I was expecting to go over and to a car accident and the jaws of life being out or something, seriously. I was really, really nervous. And, fortunately, obviously, he's able to walk off and stay in for a while.
Kenny.
Aaron, you've talked about, you like it. If someone was walk into your clubhouse and look at you, you wouldn't want them to know whether you guys have won 8 in a row or lost 8 in a row. Do you think that comes from growing up in a baseball family, or is there some other influence that gives you that serenity?
Yeah, I think, a lot of times you are who you are, and you're a product of what you grew up in, I guess. So I'm sure that is something that shaped me in that regard. I think that's a good question, actually, that I haven't thought about, and that probably is something to that. Look, I just think it's a 162-game season. It's a grind. It's a game of failure. It's a game of, even, unlike other sports even, the best teams, win 60% of the time, and you've got to be able to deal with that. And you see teams, you see players, you see talented players that can't handle that go by the wayside. And so there's a makeup quality there that I think you have to have as a club if you're going to kind of survive the inevitable grind of the Major League season.
In a similar vein, the fact that you had a dad who did the job you're doing and
Yeah.
was fired twice
Yeah.
allows you to not worry about your status here.
Yeah.
It's a talking point in what's going on around this team.
Right. I really don't. So
Do you think the fact that your dad did it influences that?
I'm sure that's part of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure my faith has something to do with it. My family, this is my livelihood. This has been a huge part of my life. I love it. It means a lot to me. But in the end, it's not everything.
Pete Caldera, all the way in the back.
Yeah, Aaron, as As you go about constructing a lineup for tomorrow, is Glaber Torres locked into that leadoff spot, or might you consider Gardner or even Rizzo there?
I don't know yet. I mean, as I sit here right now, I'm thinking probably Glaber, but I'll sit and think about and get with Mendy and the coaches tonight and see exactly the way I want to go. But I think there's a good chance it'll be Glaber.
And was there something that was changed in Luke Voigt's condition that he was put on the 60?
No, it was more just probably the reality that he wasn't going to be in play for us, and then giving us a little bit of flexibility there.
Over here on the right, Brian and Lindsay in the front row.
Hi, Aaron. Are you keeping Kyle Higashioka behind the plate with Garrett Cole tomorrow?
Yes.
And so what does that mean for Gary? Is he your DH?
No, not necessarily. Again, we'll sit down and do that, but no, it means he's potentially a bat off the bench. But we'll talk through it and potentially DH, but no, probably a bat off the bench.
Okay.
Lindsay.
Aaron, you talked about the concept of momentum, and as a man who's known in this town as Aaron effing Boone, do you believe in the concept of clutch hitting in a situation like that?
Yeah, I mean, I do think guys are more equipped to handle difficult and tougher situations. We probably overstate it at times, though, too. Sometimes it is a product of a guy being locked in or not locked in or, just going through a tough stretch. But I think there's no question that some people are more equipped to handle more difficult, more pressure-packed situations, more clutch situations. So while I think we probably take it a little far sometimes, I absolutely think it's a real thing.
Take two more. Ian in the middle.
Aaron, if J.D. Martinez can't play tomorrow night, how much of an impact do you think that would have on the Red Sox lineup?
Well, I mean, obviously he's a great hitter. Yeah, I mean that's an important cog in there, in a really good offense that wouldn't be available. But they can also mix and match other ways that make it difficult as well. So I would imagine he'd be in there, but I don't know anything.
Pete on the left.
Aaron, as a guy who likes baseball, how much can you appreciate two all-star starters pitching in a game like this? Two guys who know the teams they're facing very well, and
yeah, I appreciate it a little bit. I mean, it's more, I'm more focused on our guys and just making sure we're ready to go and have a good idea of what we want to do and just hopefully help our guys, carry out our plan as best as possible. Obviously Evo's been a really good pitcher here for them, and so it's a great matchup. It's two great teams, two historic great rivalry, and two great pitchers matched up against one another. So I think it's a good thing for baseball. But we'll be uber focused on just making sure we go handle our business.
We're going to take one more. James to the right.
Aaron, how's it going? Just, I guess, two related questions. Just what's it been like to be like back in a kind of more normal situation in the playoffs, whereas last year, as you know, all the different things you guys had to go through, a neutral site in a bubble. And then secondly, what do you think of like the protocol so far? Would they're easier to handle than everything you went through last year, if that makes sense?
Oh yeah, I mean last year was so challenging on so many fronts. Just learning, as all of us were learning on the fly, and it was tough. I think the way I put it was a heavy year, especially, dealing with things that were going on in our country, pandemic, social issues. It's just a tough, hard, in a lot of ways, sad year. And, we were fortunate to be able to get to play a season. It was a privilege to do so, but it was hard. And, this year on that front's been, way better. And, I think we know how to handle it and survive in it and live in it, while also being way less restrictive than obviously last year. So, I don't know. I think we're kind of just conditioned to kind of handle it and deal with it now to where it's not too much of a distraction to what we're trying to do, between the lines.
Aquí estamos en el juego de los Nyy. Lo vamos a dejar con la mejor jugada del juego de los Nyy ahora.
Mi gente, están disfrutando. Lamentablemente hemos llegado a la parte final de la máquina deportiva. Como saben, el tiempo es corto en la televisión. En las cámaras, Philly Carmona, Domingo Rodríguez en la producción, Oniel trabajando y el Chino cobrando. Será hasta entonces.
Siga vacilando lo nuevo de Moreno Negrón y esto va en exclusiva para la máquina deportiva. ¡Zumba! Bueno, que se preparen, porque ahora te voy a montar tu pila. Sí, tu pila. Óyeme la historia que yo te voy a decir. Se trata de un cuero que yo traje de Baní. La pasé a buscar, le dije vamos allí. Ella me respondió, yo no me monto ahí. Le brindé una cerveza, después le brindé dos. Luego del picapollo me dijo, ok, tato.
¿Cómo?
Ok, tato.
Dale otra vez. Suena otra vaina.
Dale, mambo. Siga vacilando lo nuevo de Moreno Negrón y esto va en exclusiva para la máquina deportiva. Esa mujer nada más piensa en eso. Yo no me explico. Moreno Negrón. Se estaba cotizando y yo estaba sudando. No se daba cuenta que me estaba sofocando. Porque hoy dijo que no. Contigo yo no mango, pero en menos de un minuto me estaba chupando el mango. Ok, tato.
Wow.
Ok, tato.
Dile otra vez.
Súbelo, súbelo.